This is how you can get invited to a con as a voice actor. Sort of. My name is Maihan, and I'm a professional voice actor and have worked for and even established some of the most popular anime and pop culture conventions in Southern California. In a past life, I've even had the privilege of being invited as a guest for conventions as well. I wanted to provide some insight on the convention space for voice actors based on my knowledge and perspective. Just keep in mind that I have been out of the convention running space for 5 years and things have probably changed a lot since then, but I'm still hoping some of this will be helpful to somebody. So do let me know if my info is dated. Before we get into that, let's talk about guesting in general. I'm using guesting as a term for being invited as a guest for a convention. Depending on the convention organizers will invite people with different credentials, such as actors, influencers, directors, writers, cosplayers, etc., to participate in various activities at a convention with the idea that the guest will help bring in more interest or attendees. Just assume whenever I say convention, I mean organizers, and I'll probably end up saying con as a shorthand for conventions as well. The activities that I mentioned before include speaking on a panel, participating in autograph signings, showing up for media or meetups, whatever. These are things that should be laid out in a contract between the talent or the talent's reps and the convention. All of this can be referred to as participation. Depending on the talent's participation, the convention may offer the following in exchange. Appearance fees. Typical of large-scale conventions, the convention will offer an appearance fee. This is a fee that is determined by the talents, the reps, and the convention and agreed upon, and is usually a flat fee in exchange for the talent's attendance and participation. Basically, this means con pays you to come to con, and it's usually for big special guests or if the con happens to have the budget to provide an appearance fee. The guarantees. Guarantees are more common, especially for smaller conventions and events. The con and the talent will agree on a guarantee, which is the amount of money that the actor is guaranteed to make at a convention. But unlike an appearance fee, the actor will be earning this money through their own efforts. Meaning, if a talent has a $2,000 guarantee, the talent is provided a space to sell their services, such as selling autographs, and if they do not make at least $2,000, the con will pay the difference. For example, if I go to a convention with a $2,000 guarantee and I sell autographs and I only make $1,000, then the con will pay me the remaining $1,000. If I end up making more than $2,000, then the con does not pay me for anything because I already made my guarantee. Guarantees are seen more like an exchange deal, such as the con providing the space at no cost for the talent to make money on their own in exchange for their participation. Not often, but if you're unable to meet your guarantee and the con does have to pay the difference, that can be a determining factor if you're invited back. So just be considerate of that. I mostly say that just to say, don't mess around knowing you'll be getting a guarantee. You still have to work for it. Vendor space. Some cons treat talent as vendors, which is usually when the talent signs up or applies to do autographs at a con. Because they're making money at a con, the talent is charged for the space and time as if they were an exhibitor or an artist at an artist alley selling their merch. This is not really a popular option for the talent for obvious reasons, but just know that if a con is asking the talent to pay for the space for autographs, it's because they're not inviting you as a guest. You are signing up to be a vendor, regardless of what they end up labeling you as. Other accommodations. Sometimes for lower budget cons or events such as maybe a school or a club event, or what has become super popular recently are cup sleeve events, the event can provide other accommodations in exchange for participation. Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's food, sometimes it's lodging, sometimes it's freebies, or a combination above. Everything that I mentioned above has different tiers of things. Some actors have higher guarantees than others. It just kind of depends on what you end up negotiating. So check your contracts and agreements. What are you being asked to do? What are you getting in return? What is the scale of the convention? At what value are you putting your efforts in attending? Negotiating isn't inherently a bad thing, and in my opinion, it's not a big deal to ask for some things within reason, but just remember to be kind. Cons all operate under different procedures and circumstances. You might be communicating with an intern or something like that, and even if they're not an intern, you want to communicate professionally. So, I would caution going into these negotiations with the idea that they're out to exploit you. If you do feel like the deal is unfair, it's completely your choice not to accept. A lot of times, the con wants to work with the actor, and the actor wants to work with the con. And for the cons out there, the talent just might be in demand where they ask for a high appearance fee or a higher guarantee, or other accommodations, regardless of the size of the event. It's how a lot of talent makes money, especially for voice actors who don't receive residuals or get paid at scale. It all depends on what's being offered, negotiated, and what everyone's willing to accept. And sometimes the appearance fee may include lodging, or the guarantee may include like a per diem, something like that. It's up to you to negotiate what terms you're willing to accept. So, how to actually get invited? Why did I put on an accent? What the hell? So how to actually get invited to a con. Be notable. This is an obvious one. Cons do their research and will invite people based on their credits or other things. Just remember they are inviting people they would think would be most interesting for their event programming or for their attendees, or what would be more profitable for them. Cons are ultimately a business, and they are considering a bunch of things, including like marketing and programming and things like that. Sometimes you're lucky that a con runner is just a big fan of a piece of media you're in and will invite you solely on that. Contact the convention. There are official ways to do this, such as a contact email or even when they put out their surveys. Doing a little bit of research will get you really far, I promise you. I recommend pitching yourself properly, and in my opinion, a good pitch includes how you'll benefit the con in addition to your super compelling resume. Social media. Cons do look at their socials to see who is in demand and who would be good for their event. If you get fans to request you either by their contact email or social media, just remember to be cool about it. Just don't be rude or demanding or egotistical about it. Convention reps. Getting repped by a con rep means you are working with someone who will pitch you for these events and negotiate on your behalf. Just keep in mind that you may be paying them a percentage of your earnings from the con or some kind of fee for their service. All that being said, I want to caution against a few things. I've unfortunately seen fellow actors ruin their reputation because of their behavior, and I just wanted to remind everyone that we're all human in the end. Don't be mean to con staff. I don't even think I have to explain this one. Never assume a con knows who you are. It's likely that they don't. Even people in the convention space don't consume every piece of media, and especially for voice actors, rarely do people know what anyone looks like. Just because you're popular in something doesn't mean you yourself are popular either. I'm not saying this to be a hater, this is just a reality check. And don't act entitled. You're expected to follow the rules like everyone else. Just because you're the talent, you can't assume you'll get special privileges, like badges that give you access to different things, skipping lines, or any of that. Just remember, be cool. Ultimately, this is all a business deal, and these conversations happen well before the event. So don't expect to show up and be invited in at the door. In the future, I would like to release a video explaining my recommendations for an autograph table, expectations, conduct, handlers, especially for people who may be participating in signings for the first time. I've been a handler numerous times in addition to participating in my own signings, and have learned a thing or two that made my life easier, and I would like to share that. If this is something you're interested in learning, let me know. Hopefully this was helpful to someone and sheds light on how cons and voice actors can work together. Thanks for watching!